Brick by brick, ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing? We back in the building. Sorry, we were just laughing about something beforehand. You know how we do though, but make sure you subscribe before we get into all the things. Make sure you subscribe, brick by brick. Go to bricktalk.net, www.bricktalk.net. Go there and check us out, and then also, like hit us up. We're gonna be on Apple on the streams real quick too soon, but just thank you for rocking with us. If you mess with us, cool. Share it with somebody too, at the same time. And if you want someone to be on, or someone else or whatever, hit me up, davidjones@windermere.com. Jordan Dan, what's up with you, J Dan? What's up? What's your email and stuff if they want to hit you up?
If you want to hit me up, it's jordandam@windermere.com. That's the business email. You can hit me up for real estate, personal stuff, whatever. I'll see it. I'll get back to you.
Yeah. And we're, this isn't a place where we buttoned up and all that. We just want to have a conversation and really just tap in, and I think today we have a really dope episode. We'll go over some news real quick and some things going on. First things first, what you want, J Dan? What's going on with you in general?
Man, today is a big day, man. It's JoJo's last day of kindergarten.
That's big, bro.
For real, fact. It's definitely a big day. So now it's trying to figure out where he's going for actual elementary school next year, which, man, which is I didn't think it was going to be a hard. It feels like it's a college commitment. It's you know what I'm saying? He got to put the hat on, low elementary. Yeah, so we got to figure out where he's going to go next year, and man, yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's a commitment too, because it's a commitment on the parents' behalf too, because you have to, that's 5 years or, however long, whatever the school system looks like.
Exactly.
And you don't want to be switching up schools and switching up teachers and adults in your kid's life. So
exactly, especially for a young age, like first, second, third grade, you got to have a teacher that really, I say old school teacher that really just love the kids. You know what I'm saying? It ain't. You got too much new school teachers that be in there getting frustrated and mad at stuff. And on top of that, you got 30 kids in your classroom. It's hard to pay attention to one kid.
Right. No, and everyone wants just what's best for their kid, man, at the end of the day. So I remember being there, man. I'm at the opposite end of the spectrum, brother.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I'm out here feeling like I'm in my second childhood. Like, damn, I get to go home and my kid's grown. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Different time.
Different time. Real.
Well, man, yeah, let's talk real quick, and then we have our guests. We'll get into our guests. I got a couple things to share. Let's talk OKC just wrapped it up. What was that? Was that 2 nights ago? No, it was 2 nights ago. 2 nights ago, OKC wrapped it up. What was it? 4-1 gentleman's sweep over the Minnesota Timberwolves. What's your take on that?
I mean, I don't think the T-Wolves should have been there anyway. I think that they would have got cooked by the Warriors if Steph was healthy. So I really don't think the T-Wolves they shouldn't have been. They got an easy route getting through. I think they're a tough matchup for the Warriors. I think the Warriors would have 4-1 them as well. So
okay.
I mean, I think that I think it was just obviously them getting through the Lakers is that was their toughest road in my opinion. And then I think they would have got smoked by Warriors if they were healthy, and OKC it was no match. Ant wasn't trying to be out there.
I love your confidence in the Warriors, bro, because I don't got the same confidence. They old, but I think they played.
That's how you was talking about the Lakers. you got LeBron torn whatever MCL. He's out there boogieing. I know you've seen that clip. He is not hurt.
We acted like that's the first. I ain't gonna lie. That's the first thing I said. But we acting like that. MCL is 4 to 6 weeks. It's been 4 weeks since they've been out. We acting like he don't got the best medical staff. He got the best everything, and he's old. It might not have been. It might have been a really slight MCL situation. He's still 40 years old.
He said grade 2. He was out there. That MCL was on 100. He's good.
No, but I attribute that law. I'm still putting that on JJ, man. You can't. I've never seen that in the history of my watching the NBA that you play 5 guys for a whole second half in an NBA playoff game that you have to win. Yeah. I'm sorry. Thibodeau don't even do that, bro. Tom Thibodeau doesn't even do that. He makes a sub at least, and he's known for running his dudes through a wall and not playing enough guys. JJ somehow beat him at that game, and they lost the game because of it, in my opinion. And I feel like if they win that game, now you have a whole different series. But he just glitched out and just stopped thinking rationally and was just like, he
Well,
just, he
the other thing
blacked
about
out
it
to
too,
me.
do you think it's just the coaching staff or maybe even the office for that matter, in terms of like not having confidence in their role players and in their bench? Because usually, at least on a team, there's a coach that's designated specifically to make subs. You know what I'm
He has
saying?
great
Eh,
coaches.
That's what, but no one made any subs. Like, do
I
they
know.
not trust any of the bench?
No, I think they do, and I think even JJ does. I
Mhm.
think he's such a competitor. I've seen him as a player, and he like even when he was at Duke, he was like that. He's super competitive. Like
Yeah.
he wants to. He's like that guy. He's so hardcore, and I feel like, and he has ego and pride. And I feel like when he got there, you have Nate McMillan and Scott Brooks, who both have been head coaches, good head coaches at that, on your bench. And I know for a fact they're sitting there going like, "Yo, bro, we gotta make a sub here." Like they're not. I feel like he just didn't it was his
Yeah.
call, man. At the end of the day, he's a head coach. It's his
He
call.
went no subs at all. But
No subs,
also
bro.
the other side of it, I'm gonna go back to the Warriors. Steve Kerr was making too many subs, and he does.
He's like the opposite end of the
Yeah,
spectrum. He'll
Steve
play
Kerr got
anybody.
his main players, and then he got his bench 7 through 12 is just his
Hey,
homies he put on.
if you on the G League, if you're on their G League team, you might have a chance. You might be
Bro,
playing this year.
bro, you might play 30 minutes if you're on
You
their G League team.
you're gonna find yourself playing at the Oracle or wherever they playing
Bro,
at in game 5. Like
bro,
you was just on the G League team 3 weeks
bro.
ago.
And it's no disrespect to the players over there, but it's like they're not players that should be playing 20, 30 minutes in playoff series. You know what I'm saying? Like he got the one dude that could go, but it's like where'd they find him? It's like, oh, he plays good at lacrosse. Like what? They had the one other dude out there with the long hair. He just picked
They
them.
had
Like he's in a group chat, text his homies like we need 3 tonight.
But hey, they be hooping though. I mean, they plug into the system and it's competitive. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Like
for sure.
he got
But
to the second round. Shit, we can't say that. Lakers can't say that. And they had Luka and LeBron, and they couldn't get to the second round. So I mean,
yeah.
but do you feel like the Ant hate is necessary? I feel like, man, he's 23 years old.
Mhm.
He's been to the Western Conference Finals twice as the number 1 option, and somehow he's getting hate. And yes, he needs to add to his game. There's things he needs to improve. But like, and then they're already comparing him to Michael Jordan and Kobe. And I'm going to tell you what those
Yeah,
two were doing at this age. The same
exactly.
thing. We
Yeah,
were saying the
exactly.
same thing. Like, you need to
Yep.
learn how to pass, brother. Like, and
I think
Kobe had Shaq. So Kobe was looking at single teams all the time because Shaq was such a dominant force. You had to do something.
yeah.
And so Kobe was able to, I'm not saying Kobe couldn't get 30 anyway, but still it would have been really way more inefficient. Like
Yeah.
Kobe's looking at a single coverage every time. So of course he's going to get loose. Michael Jordan, we know that story. He was getting swept by Larry Bird and them, and he was just out there just gunning. So
Yeah,
I
I
feel
I
like
think
it was the same thing.
no, yeah, I think that it's also just the media's fault. Like, I think that
Huh, yeah.
they overly, like, try to compare to those past people where
Yeah.
it's like you're comparing a 23-year-old to prime Jordan, prime Kobe, prime
Yeah.
Bron. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, and they do it with every sport where it's like, oh, this fighter has a loss. He's no Mayweather. You know, like
Yeah, like, I hate
I
that.
think it's unfair to the players, but I know they also want to see players be miserable. Like they ask specific questions, hoping that you're sad as shit after the game. You know what I'm saying? Like the
You see the
questions they're
Pascal
asking,
Siakam
and
joint?
it was just like I'm looking like, what do you want him to say? Like, and I liked
Yeah.
his response. He's like, shit, I ain't sad. I'm 23. I'm sad for Mike. And I'm like, people are like, oh, he don't care. And it's like, nah, you guys want him to be fucking crying after the game. And it's like, nah,
Right.
man, he understands this shit's just a game.
Well, that's what
23.
Jordan and Kobe did. I'm like,
Yeah,
no, he
it's like,
didn't. Here's the clip of him gambling, saying that after he just got swept, gambling, talking about how he's gonna make some
yeah,
money and he just
yeah.
lost. Like,
Bro, it's
bro,
literally
like these narratives are crazy.
he brought his team to the Western Conference Finals at 23. Like
That's
they have to find something bad out of that. It's like, oh, he didn't drop 40 every night.
We don't celebrate our athletes enough, in my opinion. We don't celebrate, like, I have to now fight against Michael Jordan instead of talking about how good he was. I I have to now make up narratives and make him look human and make it look like it looked in the real time to me, which is
Yeah.
like he was flawed, man. Like just like anybody else, LeBron is flawed. Like he's not perfect. Neither is Mike Jordan. Neither is Ant. Neither is SGA. Neither is any of these guys. But we
Mhm.
tend to take their flaws and we put those up here instead of celebrating what they were. Michael Jordan, we do that with, and it's almost to the point where it's like, all right, man, like the glaze is getting a little kind of crazy right now. So I'm here to like suppress that a little bit. Steph, we do the same thing. Like, I feel like Steph doesn't get that. I feel like Steph is Teflon. I feel like people don't talk about Steph like that.
But the way I think of Steph is, I don't think there's ever been a superstar of his caliber that wasn't expected to do any of that. You know,
That's
like
true. That's true.
with him, it's like he went above and beyond every expectation when his whole draft portfolio was like, he's going to be injured. He's too small, too weak. He's going to be overseas in 2 years. And then he goes and does this. And it's like, okay, well, let's like, and I mean, Braun too. I mean, some of them guys have just great images. Like it's hard to really talk shit about Steph or Braun. Like they're married, they got the family, got the other businesses. They got, you know what I'm saying? Like they're doing everything from the outside point of view, damn near perfect. So, I mean, I think LeBron gets overly, like it's been since he came in the league, it's like, oh, he's the next Jordan. He's going to be the best player in the next 10 years. When Steph came in, it was just like, you know, he's a college sophomore.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he'll go top 10. He got weak ankles, and then he went
and he was hurt a lot those first couple years.
For sure. But he's just an undersized player. Like when you see LeBron, it's like, damn, you see a guy that's, you know what I'm saying, 6'8" with that build. It's like, and then you see Steph, like, okay, 6'2", scrawny. The way he plays wasn't the way the NBA played in general. It's like, oh, he's soft. He's going to shoot too many threes. And he really changed everything about the game. So, I mean, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like he's different just in the stance that he wasn't projected to be this good. He went above and beyond.
And yeah, I agree with that. And I think that people can mimic him. People can do the average player, the average elementary school kid can pull from deep. You know what I mean? Pause. They can, you know, like I even change the way I play. Like I'm out here now casting from 2, 3, 4 feet off the line, and just because, and it's normal now. Like, he changed. Did he have a bigger influence on the game than say like AI, Jordan, or Braun? Do you think? Braun, I don't feel like had that type of impact because no one can do what Braun did.
I don't think Braun had that impact, but I would put AI and Steph both on like Mount Rushmore. But I in my opinion, it's hard to. AI he did it for the culture. Everything he did, like he brought braids, tattoos, you know, baggy clothes, just like in terms of that culture, everyone wanted to be AI. Like I remember when I was a kid, I was wearing headbands, shooter sleeves. For one, cutting the tube sock, putting it on. I had the AI finger bands during game. I didn't have.
Did it help you shoot? Did it help you shoot?
I'm just wearing shit. I'm losing the ball.
Like, why are you?
Like in terms of culture, no one did it more than AI. But in terms of the actual game, like you almost got to go with Steph. Like obviously AI brought the crossover, but Steph was just, man. Look at games now. If you compare back when AI is playing to now, you see how many teams, how many more shots they shoot, like threes they shoot.
Right.
It's probably more than tripled per game.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that he probably changed the game. I think there's a lot of. I think AI changed the game. You'd have to say that James Harden changed the game.
Yep.
Steph changed the game. And then LeBron. I mean, obviously what he did, but also it's hard for someone to try to play like Braun. Like
you can't do. Yeah, you got to be a beast.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's hard to play like Braun. I've seen people try to, you know, overly get triple doubles and like pad stats probably because Braun can do it easily. But,
he said that.
You know
I got one for you. And I feel like he doesn't get talked about enough, and I feel like he has changed the game. Even now, people are doing his move, and he doesn't get enough credit for it. That's Manu Ginobili. And even before him, you had Sarunas Marciulionis, but who had the Euro step. But Manu Ginobili brought that Euro step, man, and to this day, it's still you know, when kids sweep trainers and they do that step, that's Manu, man. Like he impacted the game in terms of the Euro, and anyway, so I want to get to our guest, so we can go on forever, but like we'll have a chance to get on lives and whatnot, but and we'll talk about the crypto market maybe on another one. And right now, though, we have a guest today, so I want to make sure we get in our guest. Our guest is, God, I think he's been coached for 20 years. One of my best friends, my brother. It's the first house I learned that pantries existed was at his house. I was like, wait a minute, there's a pantry? Like, we used to go head to head. He's a man. He's coached in the NCAA tournament multiple times. He's coached in the Final Four. He's coached in the NCAA championship game, which is crazy. Um, played at TCC, state champ, state championship game, MVP. I mean, the list goes on and on. A lot of hoop accolades. A hoop junkie, probably the biggest hoop junkie that I know, and I'm a hoop junkie, and so that's a lot to say. But, ladies and gentlemen, Sam Scholl is going to join us today on the show. Let's bring him out. Scholl, what's good, brother?
Man, that conversation you guys just had me laughing, and I every second of that. That was really good combo right there. That was some big time stuff. That was some big time stuff.
Did you ever wear a finger sleeve like JT said? The finger sleeve.
It was so crazy that he said that, because it's like you think about it, and I know the black sock. But that was more the Fab Five.
Yeah,
Fab Five.
I wore the black socks for sure, and then the long shorts. But Jay Dan nailed it, man. Like, AI made you want to do all of that stuff.
Yeah, for real. You had the longest shorts back in the day, though. Yeah. Remember? Hey, we had the long shorts at Peninsula, and then you guys had a cut, because y'all had the short joints, and we came out with the Fab Five joints, and then next thing you know, I was like, oh, your guys' shit's going down to your ankles, damn near. Look like hot sauce.
No question. No, you guys definitely beat us to the long shorts, but no, that was awesome. That was awesome.
That's fun. Yeah, man. Well, tell our audience about yourself, man. Like, what's good? Tell them about yourself.
Well, I just appreciate you guys, and I've just enjoyed following your Brick by Brick podcast. I mean, the one you guys had with Matt and Adam was awesome. I mean, that was just so cool to hear those guys, their holistic experience now, and all the great successes that they both had. And then T Wrench is one of my favorites. I mean, he's just one of my favorites, and was such a good coach, but more importantly, just an amazing man and leader and husband. And I talk about a lot of different things with T Wrench. So, but yeah, like, grew up, was blessed to meet you at 6th grade, or think 7th grade. And then to have a long-lasting brotherhood that goes on to this day. You mean the world to me and my family. And so, we had some good battles, man. We had some good battles, some battles that made us not talk to each other for a good long while.
For real.
Good long while.
The beef was real.
Yeah, but it's actually crazy. I was actually talking to a recruit yesterday, and he finished, I think, 2nd in state last year. And I was telling them, like, but he's returning, and they're returning a lot of guys. And I just told him, I said, well, holding up that big gold ball you'll always remember that. It'll never go away. And, and the relationships that have been forged from our opportunity to win the 1996, seems so long ago, AA state championship. But I still have very, very vivid memories of that whole thing, and again, the impact that it made on my life, and still to this day, one of the probably top 5 teams that I've been a part of, just in terms of the word team, and just the chemistry and the connection, and playing for something bigger than yourself, and enjoying the success of others. Like, without a doubt, that team is still one of the top 5 teams that I've ever had an opportunity to be a part of when you talk about team. And then, looking back, then it was great to, I think, playing at TCC really changed my life. And, it was just so cool to have teammates from Lincoln and from Bethel, and teammates with you for 1 year. And it was just, that was just, it kind of, growing up in Gig Harbor, it can get a little sheltered now, right?
100%.
Like, there's really not this world that's outside of here in Gig Harbor.
Right.
But then when you go and play at TCC, you go, like, your eyes just get open, like, oh my gosh, like, there's this great world out there, and these amazing people and great basketball players. And it was so much fun to be teammates with all those guys, and to be teammates with you. And then, was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to, I knew I wanted to coach by that point. And at TCC, the other thing that opened my eyes was like, I wanted to play Division I, but it opened my eyes like it wasn't quite good enough to get a scholarship there, and so, but I knew I wanted to coach. And so, had the opportunity to walk on at the University of San Diego. Crazy thing about that is like, one of the assistants was Kyle Smith, who's now the head coach at Stanford University.
Oh, Kyle was there at that time?
Yeah. He was one of the assistants. Okay. He's actually the guy that kind of led me to having the opportunity to be a part of the team. And he's the one that kind of stuck his neck out for me and put his name on me as
That's
a guy
dope. I didn't know that.
that would help us as a walk on. And then he was really, really cool. He would give me like different like scouting reports to do during my time to kind of start sharpening those skills. And so, yeah, Kyle's a great friend now, and obviously one of my mentors, and a great and fantastic basketball coach. Oh my goodness,
yeah.
The success he's had, and especially in his first year at Stanford in the ACC, is impressive. And then the other assistant was David Fisdale, who's the head coach. Yeah, the head coach for the Knicks and the Grizzlies, and I actually ended up living with him, and so that brought a whole nother set of circumstances and experiences and things that I grew from. And then at the end of that 2 years, being a JUCO guy, I needed that 5th year to graduate, which ended up being awesome because then I got to be a student assistant for a year and work with our head coach, Brad Holland, who's amazing, just an amazing man and leader, who actually won an NBA championship with the Lakers back in 1982 and was a great player and a great coach and a great friend and leader in my life. And so was a student assistant. And then at the end of that year, I just kind of hung around because it's like, all right, what am I going to do now? Like graduated, like, all right, well, I still want to coach. So just kind of hung around and worked camps. And then mid-August, it's just crazy. Like sometimes how you just need to be in the right place at the right time. In mid-August, our top assistant took a head Division III coaching job. And I just think Coach Holland, more than anything, was just like, I don't want to go through a coaching search. I don't want to have to interview people. I don't want to have to, like, I'm just going to give you a shot. Got my first Division I assistant job at 23 years old.
That's dope.
23 or 24. And simply just because of the things that I had been able to do as a walk-on and then as a student assistant, but then more than anything, just being in the right place at the right time and took advantage of that. And then assistant there for 7 years and then Santa Clara for 8, and then came back to work at San Diego for my very good friend, Lamont Smith. And then was the head coach there for 4 years and then had the ultimate blessing that, to be a San Diego Aztec for a year. I mean, that was life-changing and just such a blessing to be an Aztec and be with that basketball family. Just amazing people all the way through.
You picked the right year to be an Aztec.
Oh, man. I remember like it being like on the third summer practice, and I turned turning to Dave Velasquez, who's a very good friend of mine and on the top assistants there. And I said, hey man, this is what's amazing to me is there is not one mistake in this gym. Like everybody's good enough, more than good enough. Everybody is of the utmost highest character. Like, this is crazy. Like what you guys have done is just absolutely mind boggling to not have one guy not deserve to be there in every step of the way. And so I was just blown away by that. And so, and then obviously the year that followed was, like I said, life-changing and unforgettable. Then unfortunately that was always going to be a 1-year deal. That was just kind of the way the things that had ended at San Diego and then, afforded me the opportunity actually to be a part of that. And, had me a lot of times looking back going like, God is good. Like, the stuff that I went through at University of San Diego happened for a reason, and enabled me to be on a journey of a lifetime. And
you went from the crazy part about that too is the Joey Calcutera story, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was wild. Yeah, that was wild.
The fact that, and for those that are listening that maybe don't know, like you were coaching at San Diego State for that year after San Diego. That happened to be the year that you guys went to the championship game and played the last game of the NCAA Division I basketball season, which there's only a really small amount of coaches that can say that they've done that. Like, that's what's crazy to me. But and then meeting Joey Calcutera, who you had for 4 years, and I remember like seeing Joey was going to UConn. I was like, UConn? I was like, what? All right.
He was at
All
my
right,
house.
Joey.
He was at my house in like early June, and his recruiting list at that point did not look anything like UConn.
No.
Oh no, it didn't look anything like UConn. And so I had the same reaction in July. I was like, oh my goodness. And I obviously reached out to him. And, I think the thing that Coach Hurley and their staff did an amazing job of is they were very, very transparent and very upfront. And they told him, like, it's going to be hard for you to play.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard. Like, you're going to have to do these things. And Joey just bought in.
But he's a ooter. You can always use a ooter.
Yes, there's no question about that. And so impressive the year that Joey had. I mean, gosh, it was so much fun to watch him. And then it was at one of the cooler points of that Final Four was like, obviously when we played the first game. And so when the greatest game I'll ever scout for the rest of my career was winning that game on a buzzer beater by Lamont Butler and then going out and sitting in like the first few rows and scouting your opponent for the national championship. Like that was pretty special. Like I remember sitting next to JD Luster and we were just looking around like, are we really live scouting to play in the national championship?
That's crazy.
And a really cool thing in that game, Joey hit a big three early on in the first half, hit a big three, and he ran down and he gave Coach Hurley a huge high five.
Yeah,
so
that's fire.
That's it. Joey made it, man. He
deserved that, man.
He did.
And you know what? Like, so you don't know, but like I remember we were at the last game for the tournament. You guys had just lost to, was it Portland?
Yeah.
Just lost to Portland, and we were eating afterwards. And I went up to him. That was his last game. He was a senior. Yeah. And I was just like, "Hey, man, thank you for like treating my friend, my brother, like, like thank you for sticking through it. Like I just appreciate you for that. You a real one, man. Like, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like anyone could have left, anyone could have bailed, but you stayed here, man. Like, and you that means a lot to me, bro. And that's, you're gonna, like, your life, you're gonna be successful because of that. Like, I literally said that to him, man. And we were both just grabbing food. He's like, man, good luck, and whatever. Next year he's at fucking UConn playing in the championship game. Just crazy, man.
Yeah, I'm so happy you did that. I didn't know that, and because Joey deserved all of that. I mean, I recruited him, and then he redshirted a year. So we spent we had about 5 years together, and there was a lot of things. I mean, I coached him through COVID, through some other struggles, and you're right, he never ever wavered. There's probably some times where I picked on him a little harder than others, and again, he just never wavered, and no one deserved that year and that experience that he had at UConn more than Joey Calcutera. Just an amazing guy from an amazing family. And that's awesome that you did that, man. That brings a tear to my eye.
Yeah, it's dope. He said a tear to my eye. You ain't crying, motherfucker. No, I'm joking. J-Dan, what you got, man?
Man, not much. You guys still got a couple kids from Mount Si out there, right?
They both graduated. Yeah, they both graduated this past year. They're done with their eligibility. Yeah, Jay Mullins and Tyler Patterson. Jay was just with us for his grad transfer year, but he's had a tremendous success in the state of Washington and had a good year with us. Had a good year. We tried to play him at point guard a little bit, and then Tyler. I mean, Tyler has won more games at Montana State than anybody in school history. Went to 3 straight NCAA tournaments. Just a ultimate team guy and a great winner, and will forever have a legacy here as one of the better Montana State Bobcats.
For sure. Have you guys been down to look at any of the upcoming Mount Si players yet?
The crazy thing about recruiting and like the way it works kind of for us now is like, so, I mean, we talk a lot about this with our college basketball coaches. April is now the worst month in college basketball. It's not even close.
Interesting.
It's just the worst month because of all the roster goings and the recruiting and the NIL and it is hectic and it is stressful because you don't know and you're just trying to get an idea of what your roster is going to look like the following year.
Yeah.
And I mean, we had 15 straight days of official visits in April.
Oh man.
Like just
15
one guy come,
straight?
15
Wow.
straight days of official visits. So it's, one guy arrives and then the next night, the next guy arrives and then it's 15 straight days. And like, and I mean, people don't understand, like entertaining is difficult. Like
Yeah, heck yeah.
entertaining. And then like when you get to be my age, then you got to worry about like you're eating out every meal. And so it's like, I got to skip one of these or I'm going to gain 15 pounds by the time this is all done. Uh, and all these eating outs, and then like all the good restaurants here in Bozeman like ended up like not being good anymore because you're eating at them so much, and it's just
Yeah.
it's a crazy time.
Mhm.
But then for us, once you're able to get that done, because those are the guys that are going to play for you in the immediate,
Yeah.
right? And we
Yeah.
had to get 9 of
Mhm.
them.
Mhm.
Then it goes like, okay, now I can turn the page, and now what's going on in the 2026 class?
Okay.
What's
Yeah.
going
Interesting.
on in the high school class? And I think I'm sure there's other guys, other coaches that do it a lot better than I do. It's just hard for me to turn my mind to the next class when you
Yeah.
still have guys that you're trying to get that are going to play for you next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but now thankfully we're about 2 weeks into learning about the 2026 class and diving into that and the good players, obviously in the state of Washington. The state of Washington is very, very important to us here at Montana State.
Mhm.
We've got, I think, looking at my board here, we've got two guys from the state of Washington
Okay.
on our team. Obviously Coach Logie, Matt Logie, our head coach, played at Mercer Island High School, was a very, very good
Yeah.
player there, won 2 state championships at Mercer Island. So we have a lot of Northwest ties. Our other assistant coach, Zach Payne, has done a lot of recruiting there. So, the good young players in the 206, the 253, the 425, those guys mean a lot to us, and we're learning about them every day.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. We're a state sponsor at the Dome last couple years. So
Yeah.
the last couple years my mom has actually been the host for Mount Side like the last like 10 years.
No
So
way.
we're
That's
on the
awesome.
bench, the players. The reason I was asking
Yeah.
I watched the last couple years, or obviously not this year because he was hurt, but Lattimore Ford,
Yeah.
He's
he's
nice. I like that kid.
he had a knee injury this year, which he's going to be out this season and possibly next. But
Oh, yeah, he's
yeah,
cold.
he can go, he can go for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
No,
I like him.
Mount Side's had tremendous success. Jason Griffith there does an amazing job,
A
and
great
got
job
a very, very, very good program. And I
for
love
sure
that host program that's been going on. That's been going on for 30, 40 years.
for
That
a long
happened when
time. Yeah,
I played. I think that's such a to me. I mean, I'm obviously biased, but the Washington State tournament is the best state tournament in the country.
Oh, wow, and you've been to a lot of them, so that's
Yeah,
interesting.
no, without question. I mean, just to be
Okay.
able to sit there and watch the best teams
yeah,
in one place, like there's not a lot of places that do it that way. A lot of
That's
states that do
dope.
it that way.
Okay.
And so absolutely love that tournament. I haven't been in a few years now, and it makes me sad actually, because
yeah.
I kind of think of myself as a Washington high school basketball history aficionado. But you know, uh, that's a great tournament.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's dope.
So
Yeah, we go ahead.
go ahead.
I'll say we had for a couple years I think I've been a host now for 6 years. I think we had
That is awesome.
yeah, we had Coach Mosley, his girls for a couple years. We've
Nice.
had Eastside. Who we have? We had Lakeside girls one year. I've had different teams every year. I had I had Sumner boys one year.
Okay.
And then I
That's
take that
real
off the
cool.
resume because that coach is in shackles now.
Hey,
I take that one off the resume.
he's locked up. Yeah, that boy locked up. Um, hey, no, but I think one thing as I was hearing you talk, Sam, is what would be your advice for parents of senior high schoolers right now? Because what I hear from you when I was just hearing you talk about your flow, your recruiting flow, is like, yeah, you're like the seniors came last, like, or at least like you're just like, well, we got to do all this and then we got to focus on 26. So what would be your advice to like a senior parent right now? Because there's a lot of kids that are going to play in this summer. They're going into summer right now, and there's all these promises from all these tournaments, and you got to pay a gajillion dollars to go
Yeah,
somewhere. And I believe that the recruiting landscape is changing like right now. It's already changed actually. Um, so what would be your advice to anyone that's a senior parent right now?
Well, I think the first thing is just let your kid run his own race. And we see that every single day, like with guys at all kinds of different levels that have gone through different paths to achieving success, and try to and then run your own race, do your best to not compare yourself to somebody else. It's
Mm,
the thief of joy, as we all know, and just stay true to who you are and what's going to come. And then the next thing is like if you are being recruited, like it's probably in your best interest, even though, and this is hard to say because like people always, Coach Holland used to always say, like, two biggest decisions you make in your life are where you go to college and who you marry. And
mm,
I still think that holds very, very true, even though guys are going to 3, 4, 5, 6 different colleges now. But I still think it's true that the first one you pick is that should kind of guide the rest of your career in that very important time. And so if you are being recruited, probably in your best interest to make a decision in the early signing period in November.
mm,
Because if
okay.
you don't, now you're going up against the transfer portal.
yep,
Okay.
And an overwhelming majority, I mean, I would be confident enough to say 95% of us at the
Mm,
Division One level um, want to be old. We want to be old,
mm,
and we want to do it through the portal. And so
mm,
if a young man
mm,
doesn't sign in the early signing period, now that's who you're competing against now. You're
yeah,
competing against guys that have played college basketball for 3, 2, 3 years, 1, 2,
yeah.
3 years, that have stats at this level. They
yep,
have more proven things
Yeah.
under in their resume, for lack of a better term. And so that can get a little dicey.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I think that this transfer portal has really forced high school kids to do is that the ones that succeed are the ones that can have a perspective that goes beyond the first 9 months of their career.
Okay.
Like before all this transfer portal and all, just the easiness of being able to go from one school to another, like it was really always a big thing for high school kids. Like, well, I want to go somewhere I can play.
Yeah.
Well, now it's like when kids say that to us, like, oh, where I can play right away. Like that's so important to me. I got to play right away. Now it's almost like when guys say that, it's like, okay, well, you got to understand something. Like we're going to
Yeah.
have from 1 to 9 is going to be juniors, seniors, juniors, sophomores that have played college
Yeah.
basketball. They're going to be
Yeah.
experienced. So, you know, where you're going to have to be able to beat those guys out to play.
Mm,
And,
mm,
and so what is that going to do for your perspective? Again, like beyond those 9 months, like, so if you don't play in those first 9 months, and then are you just leaving,
mm,
and
right.
then going to the next place and so, we really talk to guys that, like we want to have guys that have at least have an opportunity at a perspective that, is Montana State the best place for me and my career, beyond the first 9 months, because
Yeah.
they're going to step into a very, very competitive environment with guys that are older and more mature than them.
yeah, yeah. I like that because I was thinking about that only because nowadays with all the transfer portal, it's like those guys that aren't playing, it's like you don't want to have to overly babysit, and it's like, oh, they're gone. It's like you want guys that are coming to develop, because we all know there's always guys on the bench that think they're a lot better than they are. So they think they could average 30 on a different team, you know? So it's like, okay, we got guys that know they're not playing the first year and they want to develop, and they know junior, senior year, they're playing big minutes for us, which I think is starting to go away with the new portal stuff in high schools and colleges. No one wants to develop. It's like, I'll take my kids somewhere else.
No doubt. No doubt.
Hey,
Everybody.
and that goes for coaches too. Like, at least that's what I'm seeing in the high school ranks. Like coaching for in a place for 5 years is I mean, as a high school coach, it's like, wow, if you're more than 5, like, good job. You've made it.
No,
Feels like, at least.
Consistency is something to celebrate. Consistency is, because you're right. Like, it just doesn't happen so much anymore with coaches or players. But it's funny you say that, J-Dan. Like everybody will have 13 guys come here in 2 weeks that all think they're player one.
Yep.
I mean, that's one of the biggest things that we're going to have to manage and work through right off the get-go. Every single year, every single summer. You know, we got 13 guys that think they're player one. And so
don't they hoop, like, don't they have like open gym or something? Their pecking orders, like, because I remember, like, when you're playing with guys, the pecking order kind of becomes, after you play a while, you play for 2 weeks, if you're just hooping, you know who's who. Like, you know who the guy is.
But how many of those guys are really at that point willing to accept that? You know, that's still an ongoing process. Like we have a saying around here that self-awareness is a superpower, you know, and
100 facts,
you know, and so we have to spend time working on that, and like, and everybody identifying, you know, where they stand in the program, what their role is, and then also, you know, who they're going to be as teammates because of that. Like, I tell people this all the time. That's that year at San Diego State, the most impressive, one of the most impressive things to me was watching high level players sit on the bench and cheer for their team and for the guy that played the same exact position for him. It blew me away. I mean, and that's one of the biggest reasons why we went to the national championship. Obviously, we had to have talent. We had great experience. Obviously, those things were a given. But then when I'm sitting there watching Keyshawn Johnson celebrate Jaden Ledee, and then Marion Trammell celebrate Lamont Butler, and then Adam Seiko sit on the bench and celebrate Matt Bradley, the level of respect that those guys had for each other as players that grew through that season into a fierce and deep love. Man, that was so much fun to be a part of, and it was so impressive.
Shout out to Jaden Ledee too. He just got his master's degree. 4.2% of black men have a master's degree. So I was texting him like, bro, like you an elite company now. Like, shout out to Jaden Ledee. That's a real one right there.
Seriously.
I think that having teammates like that is very, very underrated. I think every successful team has those bench guys that truly want to see those guys that are in the game, you know, put numbers up, and versus other teams where it's like they're almost waiting for those starters to fuck up or get hurt, and it's like, I can't wait for, you know. And I think that's players that, or teams that go further, have those guys that buy in and really want to see those starters, you know, do good.
Absolutely. Like, that's what it was. Like, we got to the point at San Diego State, nobody thought that they were player one. Nobody, they had completely removed that from their mindset, from their agenda, from, you know, how they approached everything on a day-to-day basis. And they just got to like, I'm a San Diego State Aztec and we're really, really good. You know, that's just,
I want to give you some flowers too, because like, and I know you might have a player or two or whatever listening to this, and you're not just saying that, you actually are practicing what you're preaching, because you came into TCC as, you know, a pretty heralded player. Like you won a state championship, you were the MVP, the MVP of that game, and blah blah blah. I remember our second year, or my first year, your second year there, like we had the same thing where we had all these dudes. It was like, bro, we were stacked. Like, imagine all the kids that were from this area that made all area went to TCC. That's what that was. Like, and for us to, like, because I came off the bench, but I knew I was getting 3 minutes, and I was like, all right, well, shit, that 3 minutes turned into 5, it turned into 6 and 8 and whatever. But it wasn't because I was trying to like beat somebody. It was just, I wanted to win. You know what I'm saying? And you, Like we just had guys that were coming off it was a special team to me. Like I still play, like, so the funny thing, so I still play with C Schwab, right? So
Yeah.
we're playing Big Chipper, a team in our league. Damon's on that team. So there's a
Oh
game where,
man,
yeah, Big Damon,
that's the name from the
Donovan,
past.
yeah. So
Awesome guy.
Damon's still out there
Awesome.
playing, right? And he's still
Yeah.
same old Damon, bro. Like, but we were laughing, and it's just such respect for that team because like we just all knew Jay Glover was out there on that team too.
Yeah.
Jay Glove, he
Yeah.
didn't, we were talking about how his situation, we were just like, we were all just laughing, but he's coaching at Evergreen right now,
Yeah.
State.
Yeah. I saw
So,
that.
I just think it's really those teams and those guys are special. Like when you're on those teams, you never forget that because there's just a bond and it's just special. And I hope that, whether it's your guys' next group this next year, um, or just anybody that's listening that's a teammate of anybody, like that's the way. Like even if you
That's
don't win games, like that's the way because the rest of your life you will never forget those people on that team.
That is so true. That is so true. And it's what lasts. It's what is, all the other stuff in large part is fleeting, right? How
Yeah.
many points you scored. Like we talk about this all the time. Like I bet you wouldn't, it'd be hard to find somebody that would know who led the country in scoring last year, in college basketball. Like,
I couldn't
but
tell
we
you.
all know, we all know Florida had some dudes. We all know
Yeah.
Houston had a really, really good team. We could all name down the line
Yeah.
those two teams and all the rest of the good college basketball teams. But
Right.
the statistics, it comes and goes. But
Yeah.
the relationships and those bonds that are formed, man, that never leaves you. That never leaves you. And
Yeah.
it's just like it's
What's
just
okay?
no, I was just saying it's just like crazy. Like I haven't heard that name in years, but it still brings
My
a smile to your face when you hear it. It's just because of how he was and the impact he made on all of us as a teammate and how much fun he was to be around.
shoot, I'm laughing about him and Pedro at the apartment with now my wife, and we have some
Yes.
funny stories. That's not for this podcast, but
Yeah, no.
funny stories. Um, so what's your take on NIL? So how does NIL fall into all of this? And like I don't even. I mean, you can have a take or whatever, but I'm just saying, like NIL plays a role in this too. It's not like it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
not there.
No, I mean, like, I'll just give you an example. Like when we go through those month of April and you're calling all these transfers, like it's probably one of the first three questions you ask. It's
Mm,
like,
mm,
and being having been in this business for so long, like that took a while to get used to. Like,
yeah,
like in recruiting, it always just used to be, opportunity and playing time and development program and then like their living situation, like, and obviously the education, which has actually got pushed down the line a little bit now too, as well with the whole NIL thing. But um, you know, but now it's like just cut to the chase.
Yeah.
Just with and just pleasantries. Okay, what are you looking
mm-hmm,
for? Okay, what's the expectation?
yep,
What's the range of expectation? It's probably
yep.
one of the first three questions you ask because
That's
you got to know.
Yeah.
crazy.
Otherwise, you'll end up wasting an absorbent amount of time because at the end of
Interesting.
the day, there's not a lot of hometown discounts going on,
Right.
and people are going to make the decisions based on, in large part, do you meet their range of expectation?
Yeah. It's like
And
a job.
so,
Like
yeah,
searching for a job.
it's
Like
just
you gonna,
it's transactional,
yeah,
and really where recruiting comes into is like if you if you do meet if you are able to meet the range of expectation, okay, well now, all right, so we've established or we're in that range. Okay, so now can we start talking about the stuff that's really going to last?
right, right.
Your opportunity, your development, and so that's really like the biggest change is like you just got to try to do everything you can to avoid that last meeting, sitting down there or having a recruit call you and go, yeah, I really loved you guys, but I'm getting this somewhere else.
Here, you know what I'm thinking about right now as I hear you talk about that is like Indeed or something. Like I have a feeling like at some point you might as well just put the spots up. Like, yo, we got 9 spots. This spot is like X amount of
Yeah.
dollars or DOE, depending on experience. Like almost like job, like it's a job hunt
No,
type
no, it
situation.
makes us
So at
all like
least you can cut that.
we're all GMs. We're all
Yeah, yeah,
GMs in our
yeah,
own way. We are
yeah,
like we get those experiences. Like we had up on it was happened to be on my board, and at the start of this whole deal, there was 3 names on it. We have 3 returners, and we had to put in
yeah.
some work to make sure that those 3 guys were coming back. And then
Yeah.
once we established
Yeah,
that, then it was like, okay, now we know we understand our budget, and like, okay, like, yeah, you have to like
that's
a lot
crazy.
a lot of colleges do it a lot of different ways. They
Yeah.
slot it out. They go, all right, well, some schools will go like, all right, we're going to spend 80% of our money on trying to get 2 all conference players, and then we'll go get a bunch of freebies after that. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, it really makes you have to you gotta figure out what your philosophy is, what your approach is going to be, and then kind of let that navigate you through that crazy month.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Have you had situations where, because obviously NIL now, it's we're in the era now where parents are starting to think about that for their kids now. Like they're running their social
Mm.
media pages in elementary and middle school, and they're
Yeah.
reclassing their kids. And you tell them like I in their performance, we have parents that come in like that, like recording everything. Like, no, we're trying to get them NIL, and it's like, yeah, he's 10 years old. Do you guys ever run to that where it's like, hey, this dad is way too much in the mix, or he needs to, back up a little bit?
I actually wish we would run into more of those situations, because what we deal with way more is agents.
Oh,
Oh, I
damn.
didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're dealing way more with agents, and there's a lot of times where
Mm.
we'll go, "Why does this young man have an agent? Just let your dad do it."
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Mm.
you don't have to pay, you know what I mean? And like,
Yep.
but it's actually
Interesting.
for a lot of these kids, having an agent is it's just like a buzzword. It's
No, for
just
sure.
it fuels
Yeah,
their
yeah, yeah.
ego. "Oh, I have
Yep.
an agent. I have an
Well,
agent."
damn. Okay,
Yep.
if that's the word, well, shit. Brick by brick, we finna start an agency then.
Hey,
Like, come on with the
no,
brick by brick
you
agency.
shouldn't joke about that. Like, y'all really should look at it. I'm serious.
For
It's like
real.
it's it's
That's what,
it's some of the easiest money. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like, and a lot of these agents, they put their foot in the water a little bit, and it's just all like, again, it all depends on like what type of money you're dealing with. But like,
Mhm.
yeah, some of these kids are paying these agents 10, 15, almost
yeah. Okay,
20%.
man. See, you
Yeah.
got me thinking now. Hey, man. Hey, come on. Hey,
You
kids
should.
out there, parents out there, because that's gonna be the slant on this episode. It's gonna be about, we're going into summer. I think this is a perfect episode for parents to listen to as
Yep.
they go into their summer AAU and club teams and tournaments and whatnot. Um, hey man, you don't want them dancing all in the videos. You don't want your man in the shiny suits and doing all that. Come join Brick by Brick, bruh.
Hey,
Come
what's
join Brick
crazy
by
is
Brick.
I got a message last night from a parent, and said that he's gonna start representing some of the kids in the area, and he was trying to do a NIL deal at Dan Performance. So he's trying to become an agent just for his kid and all of his
Yeah,
friends, and try to get them
Yeah.
them local deals. So that's it's actually crazy. Think about how it is now.
it is
No, it
crazy.
is.
I'm halfway joking, but like at the same time, I'm
No,
kind of
no.
not. But
Yeah,
like because I honestly don't think that some of it needs. I mean, I don't know, man. There's got to be. It's gonna get nasty out here,
I
bro.
mean,
Like I can already
I
see it.
think if you're a huge like recruit, when you have guys like AJ that just signed for 7 million, that type of stuff, at
Yeah,
some
like
point you gotta
that.
have, when you're
sure.
going to be a draft lottery pick, yes, I think it makes sense. But other than that, man, it could be all on your own. Like you said, have your dad help you with some of the stuff. Send a couple messages if you want to get a local deal with someone. It's I don't think getting an agent is necessary for most athletes.
No. There's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys in that portal that got agents that are going to get 20, 30, 40, 50,000, and then
Mm,
they're just going to pay a good chunk of it to their agent, who at the end of the
Yeah,
day didn't really do anything. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And so, I think the guys that are 500 plus,
yeah,
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 there's
yeah,
definitely you need to have somebody
Yeah.
that can kind of help guide you and make sure that you're getting your quote unquote worth and all those things. Um, but everybody else, yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it dumbfounds us sometimes. Like we're like, he has an agent? Like, really?
All
Yeah.
right, hey, I'm
Yeah.
telling Ann, I'm gonna be like, hey, this is Sam's fault, but I'm finna, I'm finna, you know what I mean? I might
You're
have
gonna
to make a career
serious,
switch, bro.
you're about to be front
I'm
row at the high
serious.
school games next season. I'm serious.
um, let's switch.
Serious.
Switching gears real quick. I teased this story. Tell us about the Russell Westbrook story. 'Cause I teased this
Yeah.
in I think it was the T Wrench episode. I forget which one,
Yeah.
but I was talking about how we have a Russell Westbrook situation. So let's talk about. So all you want me to? I'll start it from my perspective, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So you're at University of San Diego at the time. You're an assistant. I think Mont and Fizz were there at the time, weren't they? Was when Brian
No,
Johnson?
this
Because
is at
Brian.
it was at the it was going into my last year for Coach Holland as an assistant.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you hit me up and you're like, hey, I need, because I was making CD mixtapes at the time,
Yes.
like DJ Clue tapes type shit.
Oh, the
And
best. The best.
Foreskin Productions, if you know, you
Yes.
know. Pause, no Diddy. But like, so so you hit me up, boom, boo. Hey, day, I have the recruits coming in. I need mixtapes for them. And like, if you could shout their names, I was like, all right, cool. Like, who is it? And like, who do they like? All right, one of them is Brian Johnson and the other one's Russell Westbrook. I was like, all right, cool. So I go look them up. I'm like, all right, these cool. Oh, he likes Lil Wayne. He likes this guy, whatever. Boom, boom, boom. So I knock out 2 mixtapes, send them to you. And I think I sent through the mail or something.
Yeah.
Send them to you. And then from there, like, I don't know what's going on after that. I'm like, man, good
Yeah.
luck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
and I don't know who these dudes are. Like, I look them up and they're, like 3-star, 4-star, whatever. Like they're, you're recruiting them. So in my mind, they're not like big time guys because at that time you weren't getting those kind of guys yet. But like one of them happened to be Russell Westbrook. All right. And that's where the end of my story goes because I just send them to you. I'm like, all right, cool. Good luck.
Yeah. So we had been recruiting him. He did not sign early. He took visits to a couple different schools and didn't sign early. And then I think those schools ended up taking guys. So he was unsigned going in his senior year. So I started going up there and have a great relationship with his high school coach, one of the best high school coaches in the country. Reggie Morris is his name. He's now the head coach at Redondo Union. Just a fantastic coach. And so, I'm talking with him all the time and I'm going up and watching Russ play games, practice, just going up there as much as I possibly could. Took Heather, my wife, a couple times just to have somebody in the carpool and, driving up to LA is not an easy
Carpool.
drive from San Diego. So, you know, we start working and just keep the process going. And I think more than anything, we were just kind of there and we were there and we were there. And so Russ says like, yeah, I'd love to take a visit. And I was like, yes. I'm like, all right, so what are we going to do? Because he's getting recruited. Like UCLA had been going to his games, Washington State. He'd already taken visits to Creighton and some really, really obviously good programs and quote unquote bigger programs. So I'm like, all right, we got to figure out some separators here. So it just happened to work at the time where you were doing the Foreskin Productions and all those volumes and great. So I'm like, all right, this is what we're going to do. So you make that CD. And so I drive up there to pick him up. And as soon as he get at his house and as soon as he gets in the car, like, all right, hey man, I got something for us for the ride down. And put that
Foreskin Productions.
yeah, there you go.
Yo, what's up, Russell Westbrook? This is the
Yeah. And you're like shouting him out. And and this is like 2006. So I mean, like that's pretty big deal back then. Like
no
it
one was
wasn't
doing that at that time, bro.
yeah, no
No
one
one
was
was
doing
doing that.
And so he has a big smile on his face. And so we just keep that in the car through the whole visit, and had a really, really good visit. And then driving him back home and we're about ready to pull into his house, into his driveway. And he's like, hey, can I get that? And can I get that CD? And back in that time, I was like, the rule book was this thick for NCAA. It's like you couldn't even give your guys like a pair of socks without having to like worry about like, are you breaking a rule?
Yep.
And so I'm like paranoid. And I'm like, hey man, I'll give it to you if you commit. I'll give it to you if you commit. And he's like, okay, that's cool. So he ends up UCLA that year. Jordan Farmar ends up deciding to go pro really, really late. And then UCLA just turned to Russell. They had been recruiting him and turned to Russell. And like when they called, when Russell and his dad called, like I'm like, yeah, man, I get it. Like
Yeah.
I get it. But and so then, but I've always just kind of been like, you know what? As the years have gone on, and obviously Russell's had an amazing success, I'm always like, man, I would be really cool if I could just get him that CD. And so like, it was like 3 years ago, I was kind of running that story down with Reggie Morris, his high school coach, and he's like, you mind if I get his address? And he's like, no, just send it to me and I'll give it to him. And so I put the CD in and sent it to Russ. Nice. I don't know if it ever got there. But I actually saw, Russell, his AAU team is Team Why Not in the Nike EYBL. They're very, very good. They're very good. And so I went out to Peach Jam and he was there, and Reggie was coaching the Why Not team. And Reggie was like, hey, Russ. And Russ came right over. And
that's dope.
So the Russell Westbrook that I know is far from the one that gets all the hate and all that. I mean, he is an amazing guy. What an awesome guy. Tremendous.
That's all I've heard too.
Yeah. He is one of the best. And so yeah, so it was a crazy story. And another thing too, here's another thing with that Russell Westbrook part. This is why players, like, sometimes you trust their evaluations and then sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
So we had Russell on a visit, and then 4 days later, we had a young man named Dejon Jackson on a visit. Now, Dejon ended up being a very, very good player now at USD. He ended up being a very good player. He was the guy that hit the shot when they beat UConn. Remember that? When they beat UConn in 2008? He was the one that hit the fadeaway to beat UConn.
Oh, yep. Okay.
Yep. Okay. So Dejon was very good. All right. But one of my favorite players of all time, Ross DeRogatis is his name, was the host for both of them. So he hosted Russell, and then 4 days later, he hosted Dejon Jackson. And I give him crap all the time because he goes, after Dejon left, he's like, yeah, I just think Dejon's better. Like, we need to get Dejon. Like, you understand that you just said no. Like, you understand that. Like, you have no idea. Please do not ever evaluate another player for the rest of your life.
Hey, I'm gonna call you. Let's call you. Let's talk about this now. Hold on. All right. So we're sitting at the state tournament. Me and you, remember?
Yep.
I said, he's a McDonald's All-American. Who am I talking about? I was like, that dude right there is a McDonald's All-American. You're like, no, he's not. I'm like, hey, he's a McDonald's All-American, bro. And we've done this about 1 million players, so you probably don't remember. But that player was Isaiah Thomas.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
I remember being like,
yep.
And no one at that time thought that, though. Like, so I'm not saying that's you. That was pretty much everybody in America. And I was just like, I don't know. I've seen this motherfucker put up like 40 easily, and I played him at the Y, and I tried to hack him, and he did one of these, and I went flying. And you know how I like to hack people. If I hack you, I'm coming. Pause. Like, no doubt. So, and I was like, hey man, he got the juice. Like, because I tried to hack him and he just still made it and just shielded me off like I wasn't there. So, and he's 5-0 and he's in high school. So that's how I thought about it. But yeah.
Yeah. No, you called out. That was a great take right there. Because not a lot of guys.
Got a lot of good takes, man. Like LeBron, I called that one. I called, no, I'm joking.
Oh, that's hilarious.
What's your favorite moment in coaching, like outside of like the championship game, obviously, but like, is there any moment that like stands with you? We've already talked about some, obviously, but like anything that's crazy that you're just like, wow, I can't believe I'm doing this and I can't believe I've seen that.
I mean, it's so and I'm gonna keep coming. It's just so hard to beat that experience with San Diego State. It's just but another when my first year as a head coach, I think probably the another experience was, we had a group of, we had five seniors. two of them had Olin Carter and Tyler Williams had
Man,
signed
that
with us
group.
coming out of high school, and had really trusted at that time Lamont and our staff's vision. It's another example of guys that stuck with us for 4 years, and then we were able to get a couple transfers in Isaiah Wright and Isaiah Pinero that were tremendous
Man,
players, and we had built that year up with those guys being seniors. We had built that year up to like, all right, this is going to be the team that breaks through, gets to the NCAA tournament. There was a lot of expectation, and we ended up falling a little bit short. Made a great run in the conference tournament, and then ended up losing to St. Mary's by 3 or 4 in the conference tournament semifinals, and they actually ended up going and beating that really good Gonzaga team in the championship with Rui Hachimura and some of those other amazing Gonzaga players that they've had. But then making the NIT for the first time in school history,
and only
and
time, right?
yeah,
First and
the only
only
time,
time.
yeah, first and only time, making that and just seeing their reactions. It wasn't the NCAA tournament, but it was still a pretty great accomplishment. And for those guys to go down as history makers,
Yeah,
was another really special thing that, that they should feel. And I know they do feel very proud of, and really push their careers forward. And they've all having very, very good professional basketball careers overseas. And so I think that was another experience that really stuck out. It was
yeah.
just all their hard work and loyalty and, to be rewarded, was special.
Special group, man, and good dudes. Really good
Oh,
dudes. I'll still comment on all their shit all the time. Tyler,
that's
Isaiah,
nice.
IP played against the Dream against the last. He played in the
Played the
Olympics.
Olympics. Yeah, played in the
Like
Olympics.
you played against this Braun coach. I was like, bro, you're playing like that's crazy. Like,
Crazy, crazy.
um, but yeah, man. Well, that's super dope. Like I just want to thank you. We gotta start wrapping up, but I want to thank you for coming on, and
Oh,
it's
thank
been
you,
fun.
man.
We could go on. Like obviously, me and you, we could talk for. We have talked for 40, damn near 30 years
Yes.
about basketball and all the things, and it's been a blessing watching you, and I'm honored to call you one of my best friends, my brother. Um, People don't. Yeah, I'm responsible for you and your family. I feel like we go back to. No, I'm not responsible. I'm joking. That's all you. But I like to say I set up the play.
Yeah.
Um, but
No, hey, I
just
certainly I certainly provided the environment for you and Ann's beautiful marriage. So
you did. That's what I'm
I
saying. We
did
did it for both of each other, which
provided
is
the
crazy,
environment.
which is an
Yep.
interesting situation.
Yes.
Like you set
Yeah.
up my environment, I set
Yeah.
up your situation. We both set up each other's plays, and now here we still are with our family. It's just crazy to think about how we're
It
tied
is.
together like that.
Yes.
Um,
It is.
and so yeah, just it's been really dope, man. And there's more to come. That's what the dopest part is there's more to come after this. And like keep going. You've coached in the CBI tournament, the NIT tournament, the NCAA tournament, the multiple times, the championship game, the Final Four, Elite Eight, Sweet 16. Like you've done it literally all, which um for someone that I know said that they were going to be a D1 coach when we were sitting in your room in 6th grade and you loved fucking Sherman Douglas and Syracuse and all
Yes.
that other stuff. And,
Yeah.
to now it's just like, it's almost a dream. The next step is probably, who knows, MBA, something else. You've already done all the things in college. But, I don't know, you still have so much more career left, which I think is really dope. And
I appreciate
that's
it.
for
And
all of us.
your your friendship, your support, your brotherhood, you've given me constant encouragement. It means so much to me that you make a trip every year to see whatever team I'm involved with play.
Oh
And, I
yeah.
think we're going on 7 years almost of doing that. And
Yeah.
we look forward and count down the days to that trip because it's just so much fun just to be around you, brother, and
Yeah.
all your wisdom and support. And so, much love, brother. You're absolute best, and appreciate everything you do for everybody.
Yep. Well, now that love fest is over, appreciate that. J Dan, put us on, man. Let's start us
Put
off.
my
Put us
on.
on.
I'm gonna say, actually, someone just put me on some, and I'm starting it today. It's called Rule Number One: Invest in bourbon.
Mm,
The dude that comes in the office, he's been talking to me about it for a while. He said that he got some successful cousins that read it like 15, 20 years ago, and he said they changed their life, and he said he's been reading it for 2 months, and it's changing his. So
Damn.
the book,
Okay,
rule
well,
number
shoot.
1, mine just came in today. So that's what I'm going with today.
Write that
Yeah.
down. Rule number 1. I love
Rule
it.
Rule
number
number
one.
1.
Yeah, I went ahead and wrote that down too myself. Rule number one. Yep. All right, cool. I'm gonna put y'all on to, so, you know, just last night, and I'm always gonna do music just so, and if you like any of these, they're always gonna be on the playlist. So if you go to bricktalk.net, these are always on the playlist. I'll add it, and I'm just always constantly adding to the playlist. This along with other old stuff, whatever. The Clips is dropping a new joint, and I'm super excited for it. You know, I got a friend who's close, who hopefully we can get her on. Surgical Summer Watson, maybe. This is your call, Summer. Hopefully you come on. But you know, I'm really excited for the Clips because I feel like this has been a down year in hip hop. Last year, in my opinion, Hot Take was the best year hip hop has ever seen in 2024, in my opinion. And you know, I'm really excited about Pusha T and the Clips, and it's all produced by the Neptunes. So they just dropped a single yesterday or last night, today or whatever, and it's super dope. So really excited about that. That's on the playlist among some other stuff that just dropped. Lucky, there's some other joints on there, but yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. The Pusha and Clips. Put us on, Sam. End us off, Coach.
Well, first off, hey, J Dam, has been great just connecting with you now and all the amazing things that you're doing to impact everybody around you and love your history and your knowledge of basketball in the great Pacific Northwest. And so this has been a pleasure, man, to be with you today and
Likewise.
love what you guys are doing. This is just an amazing platform for so much positivity and so much growth. And so you guys keep doing this, man. This is awesome. This is awesome. And I'm going to be tuned in every week. I'm a pretty boring guy. So, but I have been thinking about this because I knew this question was going to come, but I'm a pretty boring guy. Like, I spend a lot of time with this team, and then any other available time is spent with the family. I have 3 daughters that are amazing. But one thing I actually have
Shout
gotten
out to the
into,
daughters too. I want them to like shout out to Reagan and Reese and Riley too. Shout out to
Riley
y'all
is
and Heather
Riley is
too,
yes,
and Craig and
yeah,
Diane
most
and
importantly,
Danny and Terry. I know Danny and Terry I know she gonna be watching.
oh
Shout
yeah,
out to y'all. I
and making
see y'all.
100
Yeah.
comments afterwards too. 100 comments. That's what my mom loves to do right now is get on Facebook and make 100 comments. Uh, but yeah, no, Riley, Reese, and Reagan, my daughters, and then obviously the woman I'm lucky to call my wife and Heather. And so, you know, a lot of time spent with them. But the one thing actually I have starting to get into a little bit more is, with my one daughter, Reese, playing soccer. I'm watching a lot more soccer now, like
Okay.
tuning into like NWSL. And then I'm actually like low key really excited. They're doing a like a club World Cup coming up here in June. So, like, they're
Okay.
taking all the big clubs from all over the world. Like, they're taking, like, 5 MLS teams, the Sounders being one of them. They're taking the best teams in Argentina, the best teams in Europe, and they're basically doing a World Cup of club teams starting
That's
here
dope.
in June. I just found out about this watching the NBA the other day. They're
Yep.
marketing it, and like, and actually, really cool part about it is one of the sites for the games is Seattle, is Lumen Field.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, so I'm gonna be tuned into that,
Oh,
and into
Okay.
that. I think that's gonna be a cool deal to watch and just kind of see like how good the Sounders can do competing against the European teams and who
yeah.
actually kind of emerges as the winner of that. So
Okay.
That's gonna be dope.
that's what I've been on.
Yeah, my brother's I think in 3 weeks, him and his girlfriend are going out to Atlanta to watch Chelsea play because they're
Yeah, there you go. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's dope.
That's the tournament. That's the tournament right
yeah,
there.
that's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple other things I want to note too. We got two things happening here locally in Tacoma. E-Ferg. So shout out to E-Ferg. He's doing a tournament in memorial to one of his someone he knows. That's next week. I believe that's June 7th, the weekend of June 7th. So I don't know the name of it. I'll leave it in the comments though. So check that out. And then also we got J.O. Hoops, who's been a guest on the Brick by Brick. He's got a joint coming. It's on the same weekend as Hoop Fest, but the last weekend of June, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's a one-on-one, 1v1.
tournament,
I can't wait for that. That's gonna be dope. So
yeah.
really cool stuff going on in our community. And just want to make sure I shout them out too. So All right, man. That's this brick. This is a nice little primer for the summer for parents and all that kind of stuff. So y'all tap in, hit us up on bricktalk.net. Also, this is powered by Windermere Abode. Can't forget to remember that. This is powered by Windermere Abode, windermereabode.com. That's my real estate company, and J Dam's an agent with us as well. And you know, like we're building brick by brick, and then eventually we'll have a whole division that's dedicated to, you know, sports and entertainment and whatnot. But we building that up brick by brick, and you watching it in real time. So with that, that's our time today, y'all. Brick by brick. Thank you, Sam, for coming on. Peace, y'all. Yes, sir. All right, man.
Brick by brick.